Alright, YouTube, this is Guns Link showing you the heat shield to the VZ-58 rifle, breakdown and everything. So you're going to need to take your hammer and punch out this pin. Alright, so you get your top cover off, your piston and spring out. You punch the pin out. Once the pin's out, the handguard, you'll need to pause this. It's going to take two hands. So just lift right on out, rocking to the back. You take your piece of aluminum and you'll cut it to fit. This one's a little bit longer than the handguard. And you'll cut it to fit lengthwise of the handguard first. Alright, so once you've got it cut, you can see the groove right there in the front of the handguard. And there's a groove right in the back of the handguard. So you want it to fit in between these two grooves. Once you have it fit in between the two grooves, then you'll take your piece of aluminum and you'll roll it so it fits. Bend it in so it fits into the handguard. Alright, so once you get it pressed in there, you can take a screwdriver and you just push it in as hard as you can and get it formed to the handguard. And then the excess, you'll take a Sharpie and you'll just draw a line on both sides. Alright, so you got a line on both sides now. You just take your 10 snips and cut it. Alright, after it's cut, so you get it focus. Have a little bit extra sticking up at the top, so you pull it out and you'll just do the fine fitting now. You're also going to want to keep in mind, I drew an arrow inside here pointing towards the front because it is a different shape from the front to the back. So just keep in mind that you're going to want to know which end is the front, which end is the rear. So just do your final trimming. Alright, once you got it perfect, as you can see from, you're going to use your finger to keep the inside pressed down. And you shouldn't be able to see any looking at it, so you don't want it necessarily to be flush. As you can see, it's not 100% even cut, but none of that will matter as long as you just don't want any showing once the upper handguard's put on. And then you want to do a fitment check to make sure you don't have to trim anything off of the back end so it fits into the rifle. Now up here, when you're fitting it, you'll see there's a little gap. It's going to take a little bit of force to put this in, but that's also what helps hold down the heat shield. As you can see, I did a little bit more final trimming, so I had some edges sticking up. So I'm going to go ahead and tap this on just to make sure it fits well with a rubber mallet. And that should be all it takes. So it fits a little bit more flush. As you can see, it's sitting flush like it should. Heat shield's in. It doesn't show when you're looking at it. Now here's where you can go a different route, which I recommend you do, but it's not 100% necessary. You use this Loctite all-purpose super glue. As you can see, it has a high temperature resistance, which is perfect for this. Some people do, some people won't do this. And it's not 100% necessary, since in the back here, it's pretty much pinned in between the receiver and the grip. So this heat shield isn't going anywhere. So that's 100% up to you. If you do choose to use super glue, you're going to want to scuff up the inside of the lower handguard and scuff up the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to pause this camera, I'm going to scuff it up, and then when you see this next, it'll already be back together but glued in. And when you glue it in, you're going to want to leave the handguard off. Typically there'll be editing of this, so next time you see it, it'll be back together. And I usually sit a book down in the handguard overnight, about 24 hours, just let the glue cure nice and hard, and then put it back together. So next time you see this, it'll already have sat for 24 hours and have been put back together. Alright, so my glue has cured. It's sat right, and as you can see, I'm going to put it against the background of the wood bench here. You cannot see any of that heat shield from the outside of the rifle. My pin's back in. Now you can go do mag dump after mag dump and not feel any heat on your palm. Alright, YouTube, and I will put a link to it. I actually do sell pre-cut flats. All you have to do is form it to the inside shape of your handguard, to the VZ-58. Do some final fitting. They all should be relatively close. You might just have to trim a little bit off the top. They will already be directionalized. This end right here, where that arrow is pointing, that is the front of the handguard. So as it sits right here, it would just be rolled in, and you can decide whether you want to epoxy yours in or not. Again, I'll link the sale of these. I have them for sale on eBay. I do them all by hand, so they're all gonna look a little bit different, and they only cost $12. So for $12 you get a heat shield, and I do free shipping on them. So it's a great deal, cool little project. That way you don't got to put any quad rails up here, make them look ugly. And I'm gonna grab a load of mag and go and do a mag dump for you, just to prove, holding on to this front handguard, that these keep it cool. And again, I'll link it to my eBay page, and you can order them if you like. So let me load up a mag and I'll be outside. Alright, I'm outside about to do the mag dump with it. And those of you who are watching this that own a VZ-58 or VZ-2008 know that when you do a 30 round mag dump, you need an oven mitt. So if you get this heat shield or make one yourself, you can leave your oven mitt at home.